Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. All right, as we were talking about the new Secure Act, right? This is basically an act that was just passed at the end of the year and signed into law. And what its effect is going to be on retirement accounts. So some of the things is going to make it easier for people to save for retirement, in particular small business owners, access potentially to 401ks and that. But you've also got some other rules I just mentioned before the break, one of those being raising the required minimum distribution age. In other words, the age at which you have to start taking money out of your retirement accounts. Now there's a bunch of rules around this. So before it was age 70 and a half, now it is age 72. So if you turn 70 and a half, or after starting in 2020, 70 and a half no longer applies. Now it's age 72. Now there's some other things that come into play there. Qualified charitable donations is one of those. These QCD allowed that you could, if you're taking required minimum distributions, that you would be able to contribute that money to a charity, to donate rather to a charity directly from your IRA. Again, this has to be done in very specific ways, so don't take money out of your IRA and then send it to, write a check to your church or some other charity and think you're going to get that tax break. You will not. It has to go directly from the custodian, right? They have to write the check to the charity, not to you. And this is very important. So if you're tithing, let's say, to your church, and you want to be able to take advantage of this this tax break, and you're over 70 and a half, or starting this year, you turn 72 and beyond. For those turning 72, if you're not already 70 and a half, you get a little bit of a break. So if you were going to turn 70 and a half in 2020, this year, now you don't have to take that RMD this year as you would have otherwise had to. You can wait until you turn 72. And you have to, as far as getting this tax break, it has to be part of an RMD, or required minimum distribution. So if you'd like to learn more about that, again, make sure you're checking with your custodian before you don't just take the money out. Again, it has to go directly from the custodian. But this is another one of those things. If you're giving money to your charity, there's some other rules around this that could impact you. So again, age 72 is one of the changes. Another of them is the stretch IRA provision. Now what that means is, prior to in 2019 and before, if you had money that you were taking out of your IRAs, if you had an inherited IRA, you were going to be able to stretch those distributions out over your lifetime. So there was a little more aggressive table that's used by the IRS, but it allowed you to take a little bit out each year, and you could take it out over your lifetime as far as those inherited IRAs. Now, the new rule states inherited IRAs have to be cashed out within 10 years. So that's a big difference if you think about it. If you've got $1 million in an IRA, and you were planning, that you're leaving to your, retirement accounts in general, and you're leaving that to your kids, where before they could have taken out what amounted to, basically, depending on their age, but somewhere around, say, $50,000 a year. Now, with this 10-year rule, they're going to be having to take out about $100 a year, or at least cash it out over that 10-year period in some manner. And this brings up a lot of tax implications and a lot of tax planning that's going to be needed with this new law, which is now in effect. Okay, so this is a chance when we're going to be talking more about estate planning and some of the different strategies we may have to employ to help minimize that the tax impact of this new rule change. So these are just some of the changes with this new Secure Act. Real important that you get with your advisor and understand, find out more about them. And again, if they're not familiar with it by now, which most of us have jumped right on, making sure we do, then call my office if you'd like to get more information about the Secure Act and how it may impact your planning. All you need to do is give me a call at 615-376-5325. All right, we got a caller on one. Let's see if I can manage this. Where are we at? Here we go. All right, and is it Ronnie?
Yes.
Hi, Ronnie. How you doing? Welcome to the Retirement Report.
All right. I got a question. If you want to leave your house to somebody,
right,
and after your wife, we both pass away, how do you go about doing it?
Well, it depends on your particular situation. So some ways, what I can say to you is you wouldn't want to necessarily just give the house or put your children's name on it. So
well, we ain't got no children.
Okay, so you want to know. So who do you have beneficiaries in mind that you want to leave the house to?
I got a friend or two.
Okay, so if you want to leave it to them, one of the things you want to do is if you leave it to them, whether in a will or in a trust, depending on what planning you've done. If you do have a will currently?
No.
Okay, if you don't have a will or a trust, you want to see what the differences are in those two and how they work. All right, as far as what probate's about, among other things. If you've got, is it just the one house that you're going to be dealing with?
Yeah, I want to gift it to them.
You want to gift it to them after you're gone?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're doing is if you just put their name on it, then they're going to have some tax implications they're going to probably have to deal with. If on the other hand you have a will set up and you leave it to them in your will, they'll get what's called a step up in basis. And what that means is that whatever the value of the house is when they inherit it, that would be the value for them for tax purposes. So if they wanted to live there, of course, that's not a big thing there. But if they wanted to sell the house, right, they wouldn't have to pay any tax on it that way. But if you left it to them, in other words, if you just put their name on the deed, then they're probably going to have some capital gains taxes that they're going to have to pay. Okay,
thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. All right. Okay, did I disconnect that? Okay, good. All right, one of the things that it comes with the Secure Act, now this is one of the things, by the way, if you're putting money, when we talk about the estate planning piece, just like we did there with Ronnie, well, one of the things you get into with your retirement accounts, beneficiary designation, making sure those are up to date, understanding now with this new tax legislation that just passed, this new Secure Act, that's going to impact how you might leave money to your beneficiaries. And it's going to stress the importance more than ever of Roth strategies. So if they're going to have to cash it out in 10 years, wouldn't it be better if it was tax-free dollars that's getting cashed out versus the taxable dollars that come out of a traditional IRA or 401k and the like? So these are some of the things you're going to run into with this new act. And if you'd like to get more information about how this might impact you and your planning, give my office a call at 615-376-5325. If you're one of the first 10 callers, I'll do up a comprehensive financial plan for you where we'll not only talk about the impact here in your retirement accounts, how to minimize taxes, an investment analysis. I'll pull Morningstar reports for you. I'll be able to show you more in depth of what you've got in your portfolio currently, show you side-by-side comparisons with the model portfolios that I use so you can see how they've done over the last 1, 3, 5, 10, and even 20 years and more. Give you some ideas as far as some of the risks that you may have in your current portfolio and how you can, some strategies to share with you how you can minimize those risks. Talk about safe money. We get into a lot of different areas, just like in my book, we talk about those as well. So if you're one of the first 10 callers, 615-376-5325, Tessa's standing by. She'll get your information. She'll get you out a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me. We'll get into all this in terms of a comprehensive plan, including the new Secure Act that just passed into law and the impact it may have on you and some strategies to share to how to minimize that impact. So that means estate planning too. And by the way, if I need to bring in somebody, if you don't have a good tax person, I can bring in Dr. Friday and she can help on the tax matters. If you don't, as far as estate planning, I can bring in Russ, for instance, to help with estate planning, talk to you about the difference between wills and trusts and some of the other factors there. And again, with this Secure Act, it's going to impact. If you've had a trust now and you've been this is going to change potentially your planning. It's a good time to get a review done. So again, first 10 callers, 615-376-5325. Tess is standing by. She'll get you information, send you out a checklist of things to bring to your appointment with me. When you come in to see me, I'll give you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement, and I go into all the different planning steps in that book as well. All right, we're going to take another break. Join me here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.